Hello and welcome everyone to the first video on this channel regarding speed build videos in the series where I take you on the journey of modeling and designing homes just like this one using Revit and Twinmotion. My favorite software is Revit. Is by far, in my personal opinion, is #1 software when it comes to architecture and modeling. It's a BIM software. So BIM stands for Building Information Modeling, where Revit will recognize the difference between the elements in that model. It knows the difference between a door and a window. AutoCAD, for example, or SketchUp, they don't know that. 3ds Max, it doesn't know. It's just multiple vertices. They're connected together, creating lines, and multiple lines creating surfaces, and multiple surfaces creating objects. And these objects, the software does not know what it is. So in SketchUp, if you have a chair, a window, a door, a wall, to them it's just an object. In Revit, it's a little bit different because it will recognize a stairs as a stairs. It will give it a stairs features. A window is window, right? It's different than a wall. Yeah, sure, both of them are created from surfaces, but the parameters and the features that each element or object holds are different than the other. So when you run structural analysis, for example, or heat and ventilation analysis, or collision analysis or detection, it can know what's a problem in a given model. It can run some real life example calculations and will tell you where there could be a potential problems, or if there's any collision going on between, for example, HVAC engineers and mechanical engineers and structural engineers. Let's say there's an HVAC duct going on in the ceiling, and then the structural engineers are working on a different model but the same project. They have a beam in their project in the same location where you have a duct, but they don't know because these working on two different models. Like, I'm talking about big firms, and then they link these two together into one main model. So the reason they do that is to save computer powers, so they don't have to run the entire model of the other discipline. So, and then they will link them all together, and they will run a collision detector where it will detect any overlap between any elements, and engineers or architects will go and will solve them manually. But the idea here is that the heavy lifting, 90% of the weight, Revit can do it for you when it comes to things like that. And that's one of the reasons I like Revit, honestly, because and one of the other reasons is, as you can see, you can get some staggering results in so short period of time. Unlike any other project and any other softwares where you really have to model a lot of the details, or you have to rely on outside or third-party softwares that it will help you to create these mullions or doors or windows, and that just makes the process a little bit lengthier. I'm not a big fan of other softwares, but I do use them sometimes if I need to. I like to use SketchUp when I want to create a very conceptual idea I want to convey, or I have an upcoming project, I want a simple design, I want to know how it goes. So SketchUp is so much easier to change things around if it's very simple and conceptual, in my opinion. I'm not talking about using any plugins, right, or third-party softwares and tools. I'm just talking about the base software. When it comes to design, and I want to export a set of plans, architectural plans, I want to apply for a permit, I want some professional architectural structural drawings, I will definitely use Revit every day of the week. So that's the long story short. But this house is actually I did design this house in SketchUp first just to see the outside shape. So it's called modern boxed house. So the idea came from multiple boxes are stacked on top of each other that it can turn out to something beautiful and meaningful, and that you can live in it potentially. It could be a dream house for a lot of people, right? So that's a basic idea, and that's really the idea behind the company's name, which is Modern Box Designs. It's a real firm. We are located here in Mississauga. If you're in the area, please come for a visit. We're very friendly people. We'll have a coffee, we'll sit down for a chat, and if you have a project, we can discuss that. Absolutely. If you have any projects coming up and you need any kind of advice or a consultation, we definitely. And the reason I want to create these videos is because I wanted to take you on the journey behind the scenes on how to create these things and how these things are usually being modeled and developed. So here we're modeling the kitchen, the interior kitchen. Yes, there are a lot of models you can download online. There's a bunch that comes with Revit once you download the software, but here I decided to show you how, if you ever wanted to create your own custom millwork, that's one of the ways. That's not the best way or the most accurate way, but it works, and for the purpose of the renderings, that's what I decided to go with. Obviously there's a million other ways to do it. There's better ways to do it. You can use components and all these things, but again, I just want to have something customized, something fast, something looks beautiful, and I wanted to include that kind of the process in the home, since the home is not that big where it doesn't really take much time to model a kitchen like this one. And here we have the family room. The family room is about double ceiling height for first and second floor, with large glazed panels looking in the backyard. It looks beautiful. This here is the master bedroom. It has a unique shape of windows on the corner and the 3 windows vertically in the front. To me it looks beautiful, just to balance the windows around when you look at the front. And here we're doing the foundation columns for the rear deck, and it turns out to, so when you model it, you don't see it. I just want to make it look a little bit more realistic in case these will show in the renderings. But usually when it's a real project, we definitely do that. These pillars, they have to go actually 4 feet below grade level if it was a real project here in Ontario, for example. And here we're adding the pot lights. The pot lights really add this touch of realism when you start rendering these projects. Now again, I'm only focusing on the rendering aspect, on how the building will look when you want to render it. It's not much as if you want to submit a legal document to the city and get the permit. If you want to do that, yes, you definitely can do that, but it's gonna take way longer time than just that. So in these videos, I'm just gonna focus on the 3D modeling aspect and showing you how some of the designs comes together, and how the 3D model turns out from a 3D basic shape, or a 2D even basic shape, to a 3D, and then potentially to the final rendering photos and videos on hyper realistic photos and videos, which to me is very beautiful, because the amount of technology that there is, and us as human being, when you sometimes just look at it in this lens, where have we been, and where are we going, and where we are today. It's amazing that how a simple program like this, you can build your own dream home, and you can actually look at it and you can turn it into a very realistic view just by clicking buttons on the keyboard and using your mouse. It's fascinating how technology really works in this world, isn't it? So yeah, so here we're modeling the site with the driveway and the road to make it a little bit more realistic. Now this home is only conceptual home, as I mentioned, not really doing any legal documents, not really a professional architectural plans and all these things. But maybe if you guys want to see some of those things, I definitely can do videos for that. But for now, I would like to focus on the 3D aspect and modeling of things, and to show you the design aspect. And if you guys are interested in seeing seeing how the real architectural plans should look like when you submit it to the city, I can definitely do that. Just let me know in the comments what you guys would like to see, and what kind of designs do you like to see in the future. Do you like modern houses? Do you like classic designs? Do you like Catholic, cathedral? Do you like French? Do you like bungalow, contemporary, Islamic, Ottoman, Chinese, Indian architecture? Do you like, should I stick with homes, or do you guys think I should be modeling and designing other buildings, like I don't know, maybe a church, a mosque, a community center, a school, a hospital? What I'm actually open. I don't have a specific plan, but I think I will just stick with homes and houses for now. just because this is the field that we're working on and focusing on primarily. And yeah, for fun we can definitely do that. So this is actually Twinmotion. As you can see, the entire surface interface is different. It's black. It shows the materials on the side where you can just apply those materials directly in the model, and boom, you have a realistic model. But once you start adding these materials, the model will start to come alive, but it's not really hyper realistic. To do that, you'll have to still render that, and it could take hours and hours to render a single image or a video. So yeah, so that's where we're adding the materials. And from the outside, I decided to go with the wood and stucco, and I think I've added a few stone here and there on the exterior with large glazed panels to allow the sun comes in, and from the inside it looks so white with black. I thought these two combinations will give you a nice aesthetics from the inside. And from the outside it looks modern, from the inside it looks open. And with the open concept, you have the living and dining and kitchen are open together with the natural light coming in. Even the stairs actually combined with the area where the stairs has large glazed panels on the side. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, and this home is about 1,900 square feet, which is 1,000 square feet for the first floor, 900 on the second floor, where you have living, dining, kitchen, and the garage obviously on the first floor. And the second floor you have the 2 bedrooms and the washroom. So the 1,000 square feet is excluding the garage. I think the garage is around 450, 500 ish. So that adds up into 2,400 if you want to add the garage in the GFA. And here we're back into Revit, because sometimes that's a workflow. That's a cool thing actually, where they are synchronized. If you wanted to ever change things, do you see these details that I'm fixing right now? So these we tend to not really care if you want to export real architectural set of plans for a real permit for a real project, because they're never shown in any plan. And if so, you can there's way easier ways to do it that you don't need to invest so much time into perfecting the model, because here where comes the time management, where you want to allocate your effort and energy into exactly. So you would really focus on creating the details and the wall sections, for example, and the sections and elevations, more than to try to model things that you probably won't ever see. But in case of renderings, you definitely want to fix these things, because the last thing you want is a hole in a wall that's just in front of your face. It can ruin the entire rendering. So depends on what your goals are. I say to focus on exactly that. So you don't want to over distract yourself and try to make everything perfect, everything just because that's how it is in the real world. It doesn't mean you have to do it exactly the same. It's just what is your purpose. Just as soon as you know that, you know how to, or what to include and what not to include. So this home took me around 20 to 30 hours to model from start to finish. That includes Revit, Twinmotion, and video editing and uploading and all this stuff. So, and yeah, it took way faster than a real project, because again, I'm not really producing any drawings where you need to add all the dimensions, texts, and architectural details. So just to focus on the rendering aspect, and that's the idea of these projects, to take you on the journey on designing and behind the scenes on things like that. So and Twinmotion has a very cool feature. It's it connects the models in Sketchfab website directly into Twinmotion, so you don't have to download and upload and all this. You don't have to sign in or sign up and then download these models and then import them and then convert them and then apply material. usually you do really need to go through that pain of a process, but thanks for them, they have embedded the feature inside Twinmotion that you just search whatever object you want and it magically appears to you. You can just drag and drop, download it, drag and drop, that's it, and the materials are applied. But usually I don't like to keep their materials. I like to use my own, which the Twinmotion obviously offers you, and there's even better materials in the Megascan. So if you want the highest possible materials that you want to use, it's definitely the Megascan. And here we're at the outdoor. Twinmotion crashed here, as you can see, and then reopened. I can remember the first version of Twinmotion, it used to crash every hour almost. Yeah, but I'm glad they fixed that. It wasn't, it's actually a new program. It's not that old. I think it's what, 3, 4, 5 years old, I think. I can't really remember actually at this point. But yeah, now this home is actually almost done. We're just doing the miscellaneous and putting few furniture outside here and there and finalizing the project, making sure everything is done, working on the scene, adding some we're going to be adding trees and grass and greenery here in a second. Yeah, I decided to place those chairs as well. So I hope you guys are enjoying this process and you guys like to see some of these videos, and let me know what you guys would like to see, because I'm totally open at the moment. I have few things planned out to design. Next house is going to be a farm mode house, which is way bigger than this one. I think it's about 7,000 square feet, and it looks beautiful. It has this classic touch with some modern design as well. So you will see probably next week or a few days from now, and I hope you guys will like that too. So don't forget the like button and tell me your thoughts in the comments, and of course if you subscribe, that will help tremendously, since this is a new channel. This is obviously the first video for speed build video, and yeah, as you can see here, I'm increasing the grudge scale on these materials, and that will help with the realism, because the difference between fake rendering and a hyper realistic rendering, or a real life example actually, is really the deficiencies, right? The scratches and bumps and dirt and real life environment effects. When they have on a certain material, it will become imperfect. So these imperfections, to add, if you add them, that will give you the sense of realism. Now, you don't necessarily notice them, and the human eye can definitely pick up on that and can tell the difference between photorealistic or realism and not so realistic renderings. And yeah, that's of course all the settings and the lighting and the techniques and the camera settings, and that you definitely need to go through that as well. But this is just a tip on top of everything that you wanted to do. It's not the most important, but it's just this final touch that you want to achieve realism. And that's pretty much it. Here we're just adding some of the objects and tools and lights, and we're lighting up the scene for night shots. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think about this house and what other things you would like to see. If you like to see some tutorials, I can definitely do that. If you want to see other houses, let me know. Other buildings, I'm open. Everything in the comments, I'll make sure to read them. And that's pretty much it. I'll leave you for the rest of the video, and until next time, I'll see you soon.